Hi everyone, welcome to the Fall and Fallow Hortpod. For those of you joining us for the first time, Fall and Fallow is a horticultural community where users share their horticultural experiences. Our aim is to create and sustain an interest in plants and to combat plant blindness in everyone, everywhere. Here is some hort trivia.
Plants are known air purifiers that absorb harmful toxins from the air.
Plant blindness is defined as the inability to see or notice plants in one's own environment. It is a term coined in 1999 by the botanists Elizabeth Schussler and James Wondersea. The premise of Fall and Fallow is that when you begin to see plants, you will begin to learn about the importance of plants to humans in every aspect of our daily lives. So you're invited to visit our website, fallandfallow.com, to get some great ideas on how you can help with this mission and learn from each other's experiences. Today's guest is the stylist Gabi.
Hi.
I will talk with Gabi about small space horticultural creations. And when I talk about a small space, I'm referring to an office, a small apartment, a balcony, or something like a terrace. It's basically a place where you don't have a lot of room to spread out. And traditionally, window plants are one option. But what if you don't have windows? Let's delve into that with Gabi, who has had to figure out just that in her hairdressing salon. Gabi, I know that you're a very busy stylist with a very busy practice. So I'm very honored that you graciously agreed to be our guest today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
The pleasure is mine. Well, Gabi, let's go way back in time and let's talk about how you first became interested in this profession. How did it all begin for you?
I've always been interested in the beauty industry, whether it had to do with hair, makeup, nails, clothes. And then when I graduated high school and I had to figure out what I wanted to do and choose for my career path, it was a no-brainer, and I decided that I wanted to do hair. So I went and got my cosmetology license.
Thank you. Could you tell me more about what you do in your job?
I am a licensed cosmetologist and esthetician. As a cosmetologist, I'm licensed to provide services on a variety of hair types and textures. As an esthetician, I'm licensed to provide skincare consultations, massages, and treatments from the neck above. I started off just looking forward to making people feel beautiful when I got into this industry, but I realized that the entire experience is really what matters. Getting beauty services done is a luxury and should be treated as such. This includes having a positive attitude and a comfortable and calming environment for my clients.
Thank you. Now, when your customers are there and they're trusting you with their most prized possession, which is their hair, how do you make them feel, or what do you do to help them to relax and feel reassured that they're in the right place, in the right hands, and that they leave satisfied with the work that you did?
I am licensed, so they can trust that when they come to me, they're going to get a professional and luxurious experience.
Thank you, Gabi. We'll go to break, and when we return, we'll continue our conversation with Gabi. Here is some hort trivia.
Living plants are an attractive low-cost solution to improving the air quality indoors.
Welcome back, everyone. We're focusing today on how to incorporate plants when we have very limited room. Our guest today is the stylist Gabi, and she will share with us how she has been able to introduce and display plants in her place of business. Before we get to that, we are getting a brief understanding of how Gabi interacts with her customers. Gabi, the one word that comes to mind when I think about a hairdressing salon is therapeutic.
Why is that?
Well, I'm happy to share. You provide this lovely space with lots of therapeutic elements. There is lots of water flowing, there is soft music, bright lights, lots of mirrors, and plants to complete the decor. The space is small, admittedly, but the mirrors reflect the light and make the space seem much larger than it really is. Altogether, it's very restful and welcoming, and these elements create and channel good energy. I don't think a hairdressing salon is one of the first places that enters the mind when one thinks of a therapeutic getaway, but I think it should. It should be on the list.
I agree. When customers walk through my door, they leave their problems outside. I offer refreshments and a complimentary consultation before beginning any service. This allows my clients to feel heard and seen and also gives us a chance to get on the same page. So that way, the rest of the service can be spent the way they desire, whether it be relaxing, listening to music, watching TV, or even just venting and getting things off of their chest.
Thank you, Gabi. Are there any other techniques you use that your customers benefit from?
Yes, a technique by which I swear is washing my client's hair. A lot of the tension is concentrated in the scalp. This can lead to tension headaches. When you massage someone's scalp while washing their hair, it releases some of the tightness they feel, and they feel pampered and cared for. Another service we stylists provide, and which costs nothing, is a listening ear, someone for them to vent to or confide in. We are not part of whatever is happening in their lives, so they feel safe talking to us and using us as their sounding board. I have had customers thank me just for listening.
Interesting. Having someone who listens is priceless. People are so busy these days that it's becoming harder to connect with the people around us, much less to listen. So that's a really valuable and underappreciated service. Gabi, I've also noticed that when someone wants a change in life and to start over, the first thing they do is to change their hairstyle by getting a new haircut, change their hair color, or sometimes they do both. Do you get many of these chop it all off and do whatever you want requests?
I do get a few of those. It helps people to feel that they're still in control. The one thing that they are in control of is their hair, and no one can tell them how to wear their hair, and it also gives them a chance to express their personalities. It is uniquely them. But I will work with the customer to get the look they are going for. Most of all, I want my customers to feel proud, confident, and love their new look.
Interestingly, thank you. It can also be a sign that someone is going through a difficult time, and sometimes we miss those signs. Thankfully, for your customers, they can reach out to you. Other resources that they can reach out to are a therapist, a life coach, a psychiatrist, or any other mental health professional. To anyone listening, if you think your friend or family member needs help, you can call 911 or do some research to find help in your area. Folks, we'll go to break, and when we return, we will continue our conversation with Gabi. Welcome back, everyone. We're focusing today on how to incorporate plants into our lives when we have very limited room. Our guest today is the stylist Gabi, and she will share with us how she has been able to introduce and display plants in her place of business. Before we get to that, we're getting a brief understanding of how Gabi interacts with her customers. Gabi, let's talk a little about the practical side of things, particularly the use of plants to decorate your space. Business-wise, it makes sense to put in as many chairs as possible. But at the same time, you want to balance that with making the space appealing. How do you navigate that?
That is challenging. There is only so much space that you have, so I start with a vase or pot that pops, a bright color, or a nice pattern. For example, I may have a plant in a container, such as a glass garden. Many of my clients are fascinated when they see glass gardens. They get to see the plant, they get to see the soil, they get to see what happens when you water the plant. Glass gardens are really cool, and many times they provide an opening for a shy customer to start a conversation. You may find out that they like plants too. It's a good conversation starter, so plants are very useful to me in my business.
Thank you. I would imagine so. Plants have these amazing qualities. They're non threatening, non judgmental, non discriminatory. They don't care who you are, what your hair looks like, what your accent sounds like. They're just there doing their job.
Yes, I agree.
So, what do you do next after selecting the container?
Well, in my profession, I use a variety of hair products. So after I'm done situating my products, I look at the space that remains. Depending on the available space, I'll choose whether to stack my plants, attach them to the wall, hang them from the ceiling, or even display them on shelves and tables.
Interesting. And then what's the next step?
My next step is to choose the plant. When I choose plants, I try to choose plants that will have an impact on the senses, mainly the visual, though. I stay away from scented plants because people react differently to scents. You definitely don't want to trigger anyone. So I ask myself, is this a nice bright color? Are the flowers attractive? I love the daisies and the petunias as doorway displays. Their colors really stand out. If I have to hang the plant, I look for a trailing plant that looks beautiful in a hanging basket. My go-to plant is the ivy or the philodendron. They're easy to care for, so elegant, and I love the trail that they leave when they grow. It looks really cool on the walls. Finally, I mix it up a little by using different sizes of plants. I hope that the overall effect is that my place of business looks welcoming.
Thank you, Gabi. I can see that you put a lot of thought into your final plant selection and that you work very hard to create this peaceful, restful atmosphere for your customers. Thank you for sharing your approach to small space gardening. To all of my listeners who occupy a small space, you can find inspiration in balcony gardening. And I know some listeners may be allergic to live plants, so they may want to look into artificial plants instead. Many artificial plants look realistic these days and only require dusting to keep them looking bright. So, with a little research to find out what fits your lifestyle, you can find ways to introduce a plant or two into your life. Thanks for listening. And if you enjoyed this HortPod from Fall and Fallow, please tune in next week for our next episode. I welcome your feedback. So please visit fallandfallow.com to fill out a short survey and take the quiz. Until next time, remember nature's oath. Love nature and nature will love you back. Bye-bye.